Good evening. Good evening, all of you, please. Coming to the yesterday's discussion, where we have some valuable discussions among the participants is there. These are the fundamentals where we have stopped up to these applications and all. Coming to these non-ferrous materials at glance, if you have a non-ferrous metals, titanium, nickel, copper, aluminum, bronze, lead, brass, zinc, having tensile strength, resistance to rust and corrosion, electrical thermal conductivity, boiling point, melting point, and common applications. At a glance, though we are discussing in the previous slides, at a glance, this table will help us to immediate what is called to locate the or identify the properties of the individual of non-ferrous metals. For example, high tensile strength with the titanium is high, whereas nickel is high at elevated temperatures, a copper good, and the aluminum is medium. The bronze is high with respect to the tensile strength, where it takes load bearing also. Load bearing, lead low, brass high, like this, zinc is low. These are the tensile strength properties. As per this tensile strength properties, we can load the materials according to the respective properties. Resistance to rust or corrosion, this is excellent. It really not to be easily corroded. Excellent. These are some excellent is there. Good means up to some extent it will work well. Excellent and good there. Electrical and thermal conductivity, where the conductivity with respect to the heat and the electrical also. The one is titanium is poor, nickel is poor, good, and copper is excellent. Aluminum is good. Like this, bronze is excellent, and the lead is poor, and brass is good as well as zinc. Because these properties will help us to take the organizations to process the respective materials to while extracting from the ore. So boiling point also and the melting point, when it is becomes a solid point, solid state, it will this is the melting point. And when it is the liquid stage, like for example, molten form, it will be boiling point is this much of what is there. These are the things are there. Compared to this, zinc is low boiling point and the melting point is also less. Compared to the common applications here, automotive industries as well as aerospace, medical, whereas nickel is batteries, energy and the power, electrical as well as electronics and chemicals, electronics, energy and construction, copper, aerospace, aluminum is automotive construction, the bronze is coins, instruments and statues, as well as the automobile, lead is aluminum, ammunition, battery, and radiation shielding also, because you know better than what is called me. Lead is the one of the radioactive elements like alpha, beta, gamma rays, where the what is called the all the radioactive materials will be kept in lead box also, where the lead is a bad conductor of the radioactivity. Therefore, the lead shielding is help us. Whenever we want to release, we have to open the small opening and release the whichever the alpha or beta or gamma rays and all. The brass is plumbing, electrical, aircraft, musical instruments. Zinc is also solar panels, handrails. These are the car bodies also. These are the at glance. Though you know all these things, but at a glance it will be help us to know immediately to identify a role. So, for example, if you take the specific safety measures based on the metal type, the for ferrous materials controlling sparks and heat, managing dust exposure, corrosion prevention. These are the ferrous materials, some safety measures to be taken based on the metal type. Sparks where, where in preparation of the various process of the ferrous metals, as we discussed, the controlling sparks and heat is also very important. And that's with respect to the physics safety where the employees are working nearby. And managing dust exposure also, utilizing the dust collection system like dust extraction system and all. Corrosion prevention also will be taken care because ferrous metals dominating is iron. It is resistant to the corrosion. That's why the corrosion prevention also to be taken while storing and handling all these things to be taken care of. The controlling sparks and heat is implementing measures to manage heat generation during process like welding or cutting, utilizing the fire suppression system and using heat shields also where the ferrous materials are used in the welding part and other things are there, fabrication part, the people employees should be taken respect to safety measures by wearing the recommended safety PPE and the cloths also, PPE cloths also. Managing dust exposure where the dust is there during the ferrous materials or ferrous metals preparations. Lot of dust exposure is there while over dressing, over concentration, over handling from the mining. It is coming from transportations. Utilizing the dust collection system at the time when the grinding or cutting machine to machine respiratory risk also where the dust extraction system will be though the people are having the nose masks and all so the nose mask up to some extent it will work but if you arrange a dust extraction system it will be worthwhile to employees to work properly and healthily as well as they harmoniously. Corrosion prevention also there because the as the ferrous materials a lot of iron domination is there. With rust and corrosion is immediate will be happen if it is exposed to the air and from the air water vapor will be absorbed. That's why the corrosion prevention also to be taken by applying the appropriate coatings like for example red oxides and all these things corrosion prevention coatings are coming various paints purpose also. The treatments to prevent rusting, like for example, electroplating, like electrolysis and all these things. Some coating will be taken there on the metal. They especially when working with the exposure to ferrous metals are. Therefore, these are the some safety measures where we have to employ while preparing the or manufacturing the ferrous metals. Coming to the non-ferrous, so these are the some specific measures only. There are apart from this, there are a lot of specific measures are there, but at a glance we can take these measures, safety measures at glance. Chemical exposure control because the where you are using the additives like chemicals where tapping the all the impurities by remaining the keeping the non-ferrous metals at the side and by preparing the alloys also we are some adding the chemicals also fume management that means where the fumes are coming because temperature is taking more when compared to what is called this ferrous material because the temperature is very high if you discuss these are the temperatures are very high the form of this that's why the fumes will be coming preparing that will be taken care of noise reduction also sorry noise reduction machine guarding and lifting techniques and in addition to that emergency response plans regulatory safety inspections. If you coming to the chemical exposure control, managing exposure to chemicals used in process like etching or anodizing, including proper ventilation and handling procedures. Because once the ventilation is not proper, the chemical exposure to the atmosphere, like breathing or the burning of eyes or the skin burning, will be taken care of the chemical exposure. That's why we have to take the respective safety measures not to expose to the employees working nearby the non-ferrous materials preparation. A fume management also because the temperature is high, lot of fumes are coming where the ventilation is there, then only the fumes will be visible. The ventilation is not proper, the fumes will not be visible clearly. Respective steps cannot be taken care also. That's why ventilation is very proper during the non-ferrous materials preparation. That's why implementing proper ventilation system to control fumes from process like smelting and melting non-ferrous materials also. Where in these two things are the fumes are generated more, where we cannot control unless otherwise some ventilation is there, where it will give the path to go outside and see that the outside environment also not getting heated also. The corrective measures will be taken accordingly. Noise reduction also. Noise reduction utilizes noise dampening equipment and the ear protection due to the potential high noise levels during the processing, because some the already we discussed in the noise reduction methods like electrical hazards in compressor house and all, like the walls having the some noise materials, spongy materials like shock absorbers for the motor like this. We can extent possible we can reduce the noise and see that the employee will be very friendly to work there, and see that all the safety practices across the both the types metal manufacturing also, ferrous as well as the non-ferrous also. Machine guarding ensure, definitely we have to see, ensure that all machinery parts where it rotates, the machinery parts should be guarded with the preventive measures and avoid the injuries also from moving parts. Lifting techniques, proper lifting procedures, like for example, ergonomics keep in mind, and see that using the chain pulley blocks, using the cranes, lifting techniques will be very safely, because it musculoskeletal, as we discussed in the the ergonomics, musculoskeletal injuries will be happen to the employees, where it will be hurt the people also. And clearing the yesterday, there are some discussion is there. Is necessary for this much of uh, deep in the. It is not deep. It is only a fundamental, sir. I am very happy to inform that it is only a fundamental what we are discussing in the, because the title itself is called manufacture of basic metals, ferrous and non-metals. There is a, we are forced to discuss at least some outlines of the manufacturing process. Immediately after the, this also collected earlier itself, but I don't want to expose much in the, for you all people for time limits and all. That's why I'm giving today the https steel.gov.in safety measures. There are safety guidelines for what we can say. Here is iron and steel. Even government is taking a much care of the Ministry of Steel also. Of course, in all factors they have taken care of, but especially in the iron and steel sector, are there are two methods are there, two download materials are there. One is the safety guidelines. The first one is process-based safety guidelines, Ministry of Steel Book 25/7/24 only it is updated. Whereas the second one is the safety guidelines for the iron and steel production also. I verified this all this thing. This book is always the cover page like this, safety guidelines with respect to the iron and steel sector, where it will have almost all 435 pages are there. Very, very important information is there. Anybody can download that material and keep the as a record for the safety future to give some highlight to the your career planning also. Though you are having experience in the various fields, this is also one of the chance to get exposed in the iron and steel sector also. If you are having any opportunity comes in the future. The first one is safety guidelines for iron and steel sector. This is the second book what we called as, and in this safety guidelines is given. Second, the first book is the detailed process-based safety guidelines. Ministry of the Steel book will be given by Ministry 25/7/24 only. It will be updated. These two books are very important for the you people to see that download from the Google. Definitely, it will be helpful for the future also. Where in that the safety officer roles and responsibilities also there to be taken care of, and the safety officer roles and responsibilities also there. and keep the things also. Duties of responsibility at the time of coming subject, I will discuss this cycle. Now, today's topic, as per the discussion, this is the ferrous and non-ferrous completed the yesterday. Some pending jobs is there. Due to some discussions has happened, valuable discussions raised by Ravi Shankar Garu, the whereas other elements also. I'm very happy that they have article discussed in this. That's why I want to share this information to you. Today's class series. And today's as per the schedule, if you go to the uh, 3.2.2 IS 103 metallurgy in the metallurgy where we need to discuss about the foundry and steel plant also. But today we will discuss about the metallurgy, what is the metallurgy and all, what are the safety measures will be taken, what are the various uh, the methods are there in the metallurgy, and then we'll go to the foundry, and tomorrow we'll talk about the remaining part of the foundry and starting point of the steel plant also. And tomorrow and today we'll be completing these two, our metallurgy, foundry, and the steel plant. Coming to the metallurgy, if you see this metallurgy, where very good questions will be coming on this because the metallurgy, one of the steel and iron industries are there throughout the country very much and is used much very essential for all the applications and all. What do you mean by metallurgy is metallurgy is the best described as a field of material science as well as and engineering that studies the physical and chemical behaviors of the metallical elements. Metallurgy also examines the intermechanical metal compounds and how they can be mixed. Because these things are, as a safety officer, not in depth of the process stages, but as you said earlier, as you said, the some of the gentlemen under opinion that we should know about some fundamentals up to, then only we are in a position to advise the people also. That's why in this connection, I want to remember what I remind you all people, though you people have known, that is why the material safety data sheet is called MSDS. Why not material data sheet? Why it is only safety data sheet or material safety data sheet? You remove the safety, for example, in the word, material data sheet. Who will taken care of? None of these things will be taken care of. It is only material data sheet only. That is why technocrats of the safety people are introducing the MSDS document where it gives the lot of information about the each and every material like ammonia and steel, whatever it behavior, it reactions, its storage capacities and storage what is called. A lot of things will be. That's why it is called a material safety data sheet. Therefore, as a safety officer, should know at least outlines of the process of your industry. So I am a safety engineer. I cannot what is called. I don't expect any process knowledge. Not process knowledge. It's a process exposure. If anything, process person exposed something technically, then we are able to understand that wording itself. That will be helpful for the safety people. That's what my request here is. And then go to the metallurgy, mineral, ore, and gang. A very important three steps in the metallurgy. One is mineral, where a mineral is naturally occurring inorganic solid with a definite chemical composition and the crystalline structure. It is only an organic, sir, not organic. This is inorganic. It will be reacted with the, unless otherwise the heat and electricity will be given, then only it will be reacted. That's why earth crust will be inorganic materials only it will be available. A mineral is a naturally occurring inorganic solid with a definite chemical composition. Like for example, iron ore having the iron and other impurities, Like for example, magnesium ore, you can have what is called domination is magnesium, and other impurities are there. Like this, depending upon the mineral, it will have what is called the chemical composition and crystalline structure also. Because once the crystalline structure, for example, salt is there, the crystalline nature is there. And this is the things what not only a chemical composition, the crystalline structure is also important on the basis of the mineral and its impurities also. Minerals are the building blocks of earth and the and are essential to humans, because if you are not having the minerals in the earth crust, earth will be loose. You cannot take the foundation to construct the building also, because that's why the minerals are the building block of the earth and are essential to humans for constructing the buildings also. Not only to take the minerals from the mineral mines, but also is one of the examples where the house construction real estate people can use the earth in such a way it is act as a building blocks for constructing heavy storage buildings also in a metropolitan cities. What is ore? It is called it is a naturally occurring a solid material from which the metal is extracted. From the mine, the ore is will be taken care of by after the dressing and the concentration and all. Then it will become a mine becomes a ore. From the ore, we can extract the metal by using various methods as discussed in the ferrous metals as well as the non-ferrous metals. What is gong here is? Gong is it is these three words are very important in the metallurgical industry, or metallurgical students or metallurgical engineers will be keep in mind this. It is an unwanted material that we can call impurities in the ore, that is a part of minerals and is removed during the extraction to obtain the pure metal, because the gong is having in the pure metal, it will not become a pure metal. The gong will help the pure metal, or it will not help the pure metal, because the gong is there in the pure metal. It will have a less melting points, brittle in nature. Even it will take the corrosion also. That's why the gong means a mixture of impurities, we can say. From the materials, it will be removed. Mixture of the respective impurities. Steps in metallurgy, mining, concentration, and these things are very important. The concentration also, various procedures are there, which will be discussed in the coming slides. First of all, first step is in metallurgy, mining the ore. Excuse me. And concentration of the ore is also one step. And coming to this, next one is hydraulic washing also. We'll discuss one by one. Concentration of ore is after the mining. From the mine, we will get the ore. In nature, what is the concentration is? In nature, metals are not available in pure form. They are found contaminated with other elements in materials called ores. So, ores is a combination of the required metal and other impurities also. Only thing what our aim is, the unwanted material is an ore is called gangue, already discussed here. The process of removing the gangue from the ore to obtain the pure metal is called concentration of the ore. That is what is meant by concentration of the ore. That means extraction of the metal from the impurities from the ore. That is called a concentration of the ore. Concentration may be the different methods are there. We will be discussing in the different methods in the coming slides also. So therefore, the steps in metallurgy is the ore is first of all crushed and ground to increase the surface area, which speeds up the chemical reaction. Because as such, if you take the rock form of the mines or ore, the reaction is very difficult in the blast furnace and all. That's why it will be grounded to take care of the speedy chemical reactions. to reduce the chemical reaction also, to reduce the resource consumptions also, what we are using in the will be there. The ore is then concentrated to remove unwanted materials like sand, dust, and etc. Other things also there. This process is called dressing or benefaction. These are the some languages which can be used by the metallurgical engineers and or mechanical engineers. Techniques here is for the concentration here is the hydraulic washing, froth flotation, magnetic separation. These are the leaching. These are the very important techniques used for the concentration of the ore. That means ores to be separated from the gong by various steps. One is hydraulic, because depending upon the organization, availability of the resources, organization facility, availability of the things required in the various process of these four process, the organization can choose their method which is the best. And also the nature of the mine or nature of the ore also we are forced to take any one step. Sometimes the convenient of the environment, convenient of the organization place, convenient of the organization's financial. Apart from this, these are things. Apart from this, there is a mind and nature or ore nature is there. We are forced to this portion or this type or this price we have to apply. This depend. This demands also sometimes because the nature of the ore, nature of the mine, we forced us to prepare this method only. That is also very important areas. 10 minutes is there. No, hydraulic washing is very important. Just to wash with water, hydraulic washing, where the gravity separation method that concentrates ore by washing away lighter impurities from heavier ore particles. It is usually concentration of ores like lead oxide and tin as well as lead oxide. Lead oxide. In this process, the upward running of water stream used for washing and the powder wood, the gang particles washed off, leaving heavier particles in it. It can be considered a type of gravity separation. First is how it works here. Ore is crushed into a fine powder. The powder ore is poured into a sloped surface. The ore is washed with controlled flow of water in upward stream. The lighter gang particles are washed away. Heavier particles of ore particles remain slave. If you see the figure involved here is these steps will be very easy to understand here is. See, for example, here is this is a crushed ore. First one is crushing. A powder will be there after crushing. Then conveyor will be there, sloped. These are the powder ore is poured into a sloped surface. This is the sloped surface. Water will also flow in this. Therefore, some baffles will be taken care of. Not suddenly it will pour, not spillages is there. In such a way, the baffles will be taken care of. The flow of crushed ore and flow of water also. It will be separated like this. The ore is washed with the controlled flow of water and upward stream because these are the what is called things to be separated. Then finally, if you see this, the with water with the gang, this settled at this surface, the washed, crushed ore on the surface of this metal or the surface of the platform that is separated ore, whereas in this direction, the water with the gang, that means water with impurities will be coming. The trolleys are there, they will be moved to some extent and for the recycle purpose. Again, one trolley will come and taken into process, not to entering to the anything. Second one is the froth flotation is very important here. Froth flotation means we have to, first of all, the finely ground ore particles are suspended in water. A reagent or collector is added to the water. The collector blinds desired mineral particles, making them hydroscopic, water repellent at all. Because water repellent means what the ore will not accept the water to mix. Only it will be float, not will be reacted, reaction will be taken care of. In such a way, we have to select the reagent as well as the collectors added to the water, depends upon the nature of the ore and nature of the MSDS and all these things. And the small air bubbles are passed through a mixer, therefore the bubblings will become, therefore the froth will come, the foam will come, the air bubbles collide with hydrophobic mineral particles, causing them to attach the bubbles. The air bubbles carry the minerals particles to surface of the mixer from the forming the froth. If you see the very important area, uh, so this is the part of froth flotation areas. We can say, you can say the froth flotation is also. See, for example, adding gang, here is already gang is there in the ore itself, settled at the bottom. This is the agitator, bubble created, the ore is added, crushed ore is added, air supply is there. In the through the agitator, the bubbles will be coming. Therefore, the lighter particles of the ore will be settled at the top surface because of the froth. It can be removed gang as well as the tapping from the surface of the top of the tank. Definitely, the ore will be pure and the we can say no gang is there. This is the one of the froth flotation process. And coming to the third one is magnetic separation is there. So magnetic separation, everybody knows that the ore is ground into fine powder. Normally, first step is. Second one is the powdered ore is placed on a conveyor belt. The conveyor belt passes over a magnetic roller. The magnetic ore sticks to the roller, and the non-magnetic gang is fall off. These are the very important steps. If you see this, the crusher ore falls on the conveyor belt. Head drum and tail drum is there. It will fall on this, where the blue indicates the non-magnetic material, where the brown materials, you can say it is a magnetic material considered as a schematic representation, because the magnetic separation is there. Where it will be running, this is the magnetic roller. This is also magnetic roller, where the magnetic parts will be attracted here is and fall on the collector. This is the magnetic particles, where the ore is attracted the magnetic particle, because iron ore it will be attracted here is collector here is. Whereas the non-magnetic means where the impurities are there, that will be fallen into the, because of the force it will come on the collector of the non-magnetic properties. This becomes a magnetic separation also. This is one of the easiest method where we can do, but lot of steps to be taken care of. Any of the four process we can use depending upon the nature of the ore, depending on the convenience of the organization, availability of the resources also important. Leaching process is also very important point, where they powder the ore, dissolve the ore in chemical such as strong solution of NaOH, separate the metal from the gangue by extracting the chemical solution, filter out the impurities, obtain the metal from the chemical solution. These are the some leaching works will be taken care of. See, for example, if you see the electrolysis method, we can say where the leaching of aluminum trioxide from the bauxite, where the bauxite is the ore of aluminum. Everybody knows about it. The bauxite ore is having the aluminum is a dominating percentage. That's why what is the ore of aluminum is bauxite. That leaching of Al2O3 will be coming from this point. After that, the O3 will be removed by heating the process and all. Leaching means the molten, already see, a powder the ore, dissolve the ore in the chemicals such as NaOH, sodium hydroxide is there. Third one is they separate the metal from the gangue by extracting the chemical solution, because anode, cathode will be there. Carbon act as an anode, whereas the copper act as a what is called the cathode also, where the carbon is act as a cathode here is. See, for example, the NaOH solution is there. Therefore, blue color is molten aluminum oxide Al2O3. Whereas molten aluminum, this is the molten aluminum. Outlet will be aluminum, outlet of aluminum. This is the oxygen, carbon electrode, it will be attracted as per the electrolysis principles. We can do the better way of the leaching process also. Though chemical nature is there, but it will be as pure metal will come with this method, with this leaching process, because each ore, depending upon the ore, depending upon the nature of the ore, depending on the properties of the ore, we can decide any of the four concentration methods. After concentration, there is a reduction is there. That means reduction process is there. The ore is chemically covered into an oxide. The metal oxide is then reduced to a metal. Fe2O3 is there. Al2O3 is there. From Al2O3, simply from the calcining or roasting, whatever may be the heating and all, or smelting, then the oxide will be removed and the pure metal will be coming from the reduction process. These are the three methods are there. One is mining, another is concentration, and third one is reduction is important. So each process is very important to consider the nature of the ore and nature of the mine, also the properties of the mine. What are the safety measures we can say? Safety measures to prevent the measures in metallurgical process. The personal protective equipment, key aspects of metallurgical safety important here is each employee in a precious metal refinery